Hello everybody, Angel Arts here, and welcome back to another episode of Gay Let's Play Dragon Age Inquisition. The very first thing that we're going to do in this video is I'm going to go back to the War Council, because it's a lot of the quests that I sent scouts towards have been completed, so I'm just going to go ahead and complete them and then pick the next one, and then after that I'm just going to be doing codexes. So if you're not interested in that, feel free to skip to the next video either now or after I select whatever scouting missions I'm going to be selecting. So, the Serpent of Navarra. Inquisition forces waited until Varelius left the royal palace in Navarra, watching until we are certain his goal was to report to superiors in the Deventer city of Trebus. Then we struck. I'm told that our agent, a reaver named Tomar, cut a bloody swath through their ranks, and Varelius himself was captured. We recovered various artifacts we carried, and reports state that King Marcus came to his senses as if awakening from a dream. The Venathori threat in Navarra has been eliminated. Thank you, Cullen. I knew I could trust you with that. And we get a Magister Ice Staff, which I don't know is necessarily better than the staffs we have now, but I can take a look. Hunt Therenfall, redoubt enemy demon. Inquisitor. The demon was clever enough to impersonate everyone from Secret Pantagas to the chief. To even me at one point, but we caught it and put it down. There wasn't much left of the body after we killed the thing, but it had missives with useful information. Most of them confirm what we already knew. The Elder One planning to kill Empress Selene and march an army of demons across Orlais, but I'll pass them to Sister Liliana regardless. Rewards received, 30 influence and intense spirit essence, probably going to be useful for runes and stuff. Upon the Waking Sea. We found what we were looking for, an ancient vault all but buried in the thick vegetation at the heart of the island, no doubt untouched for over 1,000 years. The effort to open the vault without setting off traps was considerable, and what we found within was interesting. According to an agent named Ryan, this was the retreat of one of the last of Andraste's disciples, a guardian who fled some manner of attack on the site of the sacred ashes. He expected reinforcement by other disciples who never arrived. Whatever texts the men thought to preserve have mostly crumbled, but we recovered a number of other artifacts from the site. It is a significant find that will undoubtedly prove of great interest to Chantry scholars, even if it will take them years to sort through all the debris. Rewards received, a figurine of armored Andraste. Okay, so let's see, what do we want to do now? Interland resources are... oh, they're available again. So I guess we can continually send troops to get these resources over and over again, is my guess. Conscript for the Inquisition. Well, that settles it. We face a Darkspawn Magister who commands something that looks suspicious like Darchbeeman. Blah, 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 blah. We have blackmails, treaties, and we have cause, status, precision. So this one takes 54. This one will take 54. Improved stability. Completed. Allies from Starkhaven is available. I kind of want to help out. Sebastian, because search for Hack Rider, gain Orzamar's friendship, specialization for the Inquisitor. These are all Josephine. The problem is, yeah, all of these are Josephine. Yeah, not participating in this mission. Then this one's going to take me 3 hours to complete. Search for the Hack Rider. Yeah, let's have Josephine, take this so she can... 3 hours... oh, 2 hours and 48 minutes. 3 hours and 36 minutes for people who aren't even participating in the mission. Yeah, Joe, take this. Service. Go help out Sebastian. Scout the Storm Coast. Alliances, choose successor in Lides. Truth or Dare. I do want to help out. Vivienne. Murier de Marquis continents, both spending money like water, which to pursue. Comte de Moore is this relation of the Empress. We should speak with him first. You have agents near Compton now. We can infiltrate his matter at a moment's notice. This is where we have to choose between two people. The region between Lake Celestine and the shores of the Waking Sea is known as the Heartlands, a place of vineyards and gilded marble estates. The locals refer to it as cottages, and it is often said that the Orlay's heart is played with gold, and so it seems fitting that the Heartlands are perhaps the richest place outside of Val Royeaux. A note is written. Comte de Mourier and Marquise de Courtemans, both spending money like water. Which to pursue? It's a disrelation of the Empress. We should speak with him first. We have agents in place near Codex now. We can filter his matter at a moment's notice. See, normally I would definitely send Josephine for this one, because of what's going on with Empress Celine. It's probably strategically a good idea for us to do what we need to do with the one that has distant relation to the Empress, but Josephine's busy. And, you know, and she's going to be busy doing other things that are Josephine-specific. There's a bunch of Josephine-specific missions right now, and I don't want to, like, clutter her plate with too much stuff, while, you know, Liliana can pick things up. And I really do want to try to help Vivienne as much as possible, because right now, I think of all the characters, she's the one who approves of me the least. So I want to try to be in her good graces as much as possible, as early as possible. Western approach, Venator activity in the west, investigate the shards. Completed. Okay. Choose successor in Lides. Who did we want as the successor? The duchy will go one of 3 members of the dead Duke's family, all of whom have possible claims to the position due to the complex nature of Orlesian politics. His cousin Carolina, already a duchess by marriage, his daughter Monet, whose claim is muddled by her youth and naivety, and the fact that her father pushed her into a life of service to the Chantry after his wife's death, likely to protect her from the danger of the game, and his brother Jean Gaspard, an ambitious and cunning man who has been searching for power. Carolina is capable and not overly invested in overseeing Lides personally. Monet would be the most easily manipulated, but less likely to be useful. Jean Gaspard would be difficult to manipulate and could present a threat if he succeeds his brother. Any of the 3 candidates could become a valuable ally to the Inquisition, but the other 2 must be removed from play first. Jean Gaspard is a chevalier and capable military leader. If we want him removed, I dare say we might recruit him for ourselves. Military leader is important. Monet would do better in the Chantry than in the game. I can see that she is encouraged to take vows. I don't know if we need some more people in the Chantry, though. More so than a military leader. I can destroy Carolina's marriage with 4 words and a proper glove left on a proper table. Do we want to destroy her marriage? Already a duchess by marriage. Is capable and not overly invested in overseeing Lides personally. Monet would be the most easily manipulated. Is capable and not overly invested in overseeing Lides personally. Oh. But the problem is, Monet's not particularly less likely to be useful. Jean Gaspard would be difficult to manipulate and could present a threat if he succeeds his brother. I don't like the idea of destroying someone's marriage. Yeah, I don't like the idea of destroying someone's marriage, and Monet is not as needed for the Inquisition. A capable military leader. If we want him removed, I dare say we might recruit him for ourselves. I think it makes sense to send Colin on this one, which is convenient because he's the only one left.
To work?
To work, sir. Okay, so we're gonna let that cook. And then we're gonna move on to Codexes. Alright, we've got a lot to do. Alright, Codexes. That's journal. I want Codexes. There we go. Characters! Cole! His name is Cole. He's not that old, perhaps 20 years, no more. He has blonde hair that hangs in front of his eyes. He wears dirty leathers, perhaps the only clothes he owns. Oh, we need to take Cole shopping. Oh my gosh. Art needs to take Cole shopping in Val Royeaux. I totally want to see a Queer Eye for the Straight Guy uh, makeover montage for Cole. That would be amazing. It would sort of remind me of the makeover for Gao in Final Fantasy VI, for those of you who played the game. Uh, Please, somebody make a mod right now. Whoever can do that, get on it. Make me a mod so that we can have Art take Cole on a Queer Eye for the Straight Guy makeover montage in Val Royeaux. Do it now. Um, he was there when you found Reese in the Templar crypt, but you couldn't see him. Nobody can, and those who do forget him, just like you are right now. Remember the dream, a letter allegedly written by former Knight Captain Evangeline de Brassard, found in the spire in the aftermath of the Mage Uprising. I love Evangeline. She's so cool. Inquisitor, if you believe that this Cole truly wishes to help the Inquisition and can be trusted to do safely, I am willing to give him a chance to prove himself. As Solus insists that he is a spirit made manifest in the form of a young man, not a demon possessing an unwilling victim, I can see that he may not be malicious. Nevertheless, Cole's abilities concern me. I would ask Liliana to have him watched, but most of Skyhold seems unable to see this spirit, or remember him even if informed of his existence. The servants complain of odd occurrences, items mislaid or moved to strange locations, but have thus far been unable to see or remember the person responsible. Such actions appear harmless thus far, but I remain vigilant. Cassandra. Cole appreciates the Inquisition helping those who are hurting and in need. Art trust Cole. He trusts Cole because he just seems like a very genuine. Cole seems to have a genuine soul. Yes, I rhymed that purposely. Corypheus. Corypheus. Let me tell you what I know about the Seven. Those Tevinter Magisters who have entered the Golden City long ago. Each was a high priest to the one of the old gods. Each came to the ritual shrouded in secrecy, hiding their true name from each other. They were competitors, you see. The old gods told them they would break into the Golden City and usurp the Master's throne, but only one of them could sit on that throne. Each assumed the title related to their role in casting the ritual. Some texts claim they had a leader, the high priest of Dumat, called Corypheus. He did not rule this group, but instead conducted it, coordinating their efforts to achieve a magical feat never since replicated. They breached the Fade, walked physically in dreams, and changed our world forever. Perhaps these seven were the first Darkspawn, cursed by the Maker as the Chant of Light tells us. Perhaps not. One would think these magisters long dead, but there are whispers this is not so. Think, if you will, what might become of the minds of such beings, corrupted by the blight, cast down from prideful folly, simmering in resentment and darkness for over 1,000 years? Where would such men live? Who knows of them? For someone must, if whispers persist. What secrets do they yet hold, and what would we do should any one of them return to the light? With luck, these are questions we will never have to answer. From Questioning the Chants by Magister Vibius Agorian. Hate to break it to you, buddy. Samson. I want this made clear to every man and woman in our army. Do not challenge the Red Templar's leader, General Samson, on your own. You may have heard stories of how Samson used to be a Templar in Kirkwall until he was thrown out of the order. Do I remember Samson in Dragon Age 2? Maybe I did. That he became a vagrant begging for coin to buy lyrium. Oh wait, I do remember. Was Samson? Oh no. Oh no. Samson was the guy who was thrown out of the Templar order, and he ended up being a beggar in the streets. And then Clive helped Clive with Fainriel, and then he helped Clive again when Clive was trying to rescue his brother Carver when Carver was kidnapped in Act 3. And then Clive convinced the Templars to accept Samson back into the Order. Oh my gosh, it's all Clive's fault. Clive's not doing so well. First of all, He's, for whatever reason right now, I don't know if things are buggy, but right now he seems more like the pragmatic Hawk and not the humorous Hawk that I wanted him to be. And it's looking like everyone, no matter what personality you gave him in the keep, Hawk's pretty much a jerk face, or at least isn't the most cheerful person in the world. He was also the one who kind of sort of freed Corypheus. Kind of sorta. Alright, he did free Corypheus. And he was the one who placed Samson in power. I feel bad. I'm sorry, Clive. You're just not... Maybe it's a good thing that Clive ended up not being the Inquisitor, because I'm just saying. He's not doing so hot right now. He became a vagrant begging for coin to buy lyrium. That's right. Oh my gosh, Samson. I thought you were such a great... Well, not a great guy. I thought you had promise. I thought you were going to redeem yourself. But no, you ended up going completely opposite of where I wanted you to go. It's, again, I'm glad I'm reading these codexes because the epiphanies, people. The fiend who attacked us at Haven had the strength of a dozen men. Samson has the training of a Templar and all the power of red lyrium at his command. For those who did not see it firsthand, he is dangerous as any demon, perhaps worse. Treat him as such. I will hold personally accountable any officers who do not communicate this order to their soldiers. A letter from Commander Cullen, issued to commanding officers and read to all Inquisition soldiers. Oh man, I'm so sorry. I feel bad. I really thought Samson was turning his life around, but now, not so much. The Champion of Kirkwall. I've heard the name Hawk on several lips this week. Many of us blame the Champion for the events in Kirkwall, which sparked a war and hurled all Thedas into chaos. But can we truly fault Hawk for what he did? Here was a poor refugee from Ferelden who came to the free marches fleeing the Blight. Coming from a family of apostates, Hawk must have spent his life hiding from Templars, hearing about the abuses to which mages under the care of the Circle were subjected. Make no mistake, there were abuses. We will never find a peaceful solution to this conflict until we admit that we were partially responsible. Imagine how it must have been for Hawk when he rose to prominence for his role in ending the Qunari threat of 934. From refugee to champion of Kirkwall, Hawk's position gave him power and influence. Nothing could touch him. But although the champion of Kirkwall walked free, there were mages in the gallows who did not. The thought must have rankled. Are the champion's actions during the Mage Uprising so hard to understand, given all I have said? Following the destruction of the Chantry, Knight Commander Meredith invoked the right of annulment and called for the execution of every mage in Kirkwall. It was not right. Another injustice added to an already lengthy list. Hawk knew it and stood against her. He put himself between the Templars and the mages they sought to destroy and became a legend. Even though he later disappeared, fleeing Kirkwall and the Chantry's justice, what happened in Kirkwall that day changed Thedas forever. By defying Meredith and our order, Hawk became a beacon for the Mage Rebellion that gave the mages hope, rallied them. They fought back, and here we now stand on the eye of the Divine Conclave, seeking peace before the rebellion destroys us all. Knight Commander Martu of Montsimard, speaking to Templars attending the Divine Conclave. Creatures. Behemoth. We could have held off a battering ram, but the behemoth? It took the gates off at the hinges. Then it screamed. Not a roar or a growl, a scream. All rage and pain. As I drew my blade, all I could think was, there's a Templar in there. Somewhere in that thing was a brother or sister of the Order. Every fiber of my soul was crying out to them. But whoever it might have been, whoever's son or daughter, they were lost to us, swallowed by corruption and lies. I helped the only way I could, the only way any of us can. We must end their suffering, and Maker willing, we must try to remember them as they were. From the reports of Knight Captain Vidir, a tactical considerations for the Inquisition. So the behemoths are those big, giant, abomination-looking Templar things. Horror. Presley. Oh, Presley! Reminds me of Presley from Mass Effect 3. Whatever you do, don't get too close. Hugs and kisses, Presley. Yes, that's right. Hugs and kisses, Presley. Whatever you do, don't get too close to those red Templars with giant lumps on their backs. They can spit lyrium. You can actually see it growing before they fling it at you from their palms. One hit Henley in the face. He'd have a massive scars if I hadn't been there to heal the wounds as we plucked stuff out. We started to beat the wound. We started to beat it down with some spells, and the air went sour. I felt sick, like you do when you're around too much raw lyrium. Lyra almost passed out. I grabbed her and ran. With luck, the thing found better prey than us. I never loved the Templars, but seeing them mutilated with lyrium doesn't give me any cheer. I don't understand why they'd inflict this on themselves. Jaina. Red Templar Archers. Take aim. Red lyrium isn't the weak stuff they fed you all your life. The song is deeper. It's got a will of its own. Tame it, and it will do the things the chantries instructors never dreamed of. Listen. Focus on the arrow in your hand. You pour power into it when it leaves the bow. That strength can fly across a battlefield and punch a hole through the thickest armor. Soon you won't need to stop to hear it. Practice, and the song will always be in your blood. And fire. Red Templar Archer, instructing new recruits starting to take Red lyrium. Red Templar Foot Soldier. Do you remember when I was tracking some mages hiding in the mountains? I found those Red Templar heretics attacking them. The Templars turned on me as well. The soldiers looked like normal men and women, but they rained down blows so hard it numbed my arm through my shield. It took me 3 minutes to kill just one, and he only stopped when I cut off his head. That's when I saw their leader, a huge, misshapen knight. He made a gesture, and a streak of light streamed from him into one of the soldiers. Red lyrium burst through the soldier's back. He changed into some kind of thing that made the mages all sick. I still don't know how he survived. These mages are children and frightened scholars, hiding from the war after their circles fell. Still, if one of them wasn't a healer, I'd have lost my sword arm. Letter from a Templar knight who left the order to her husband. Research. Damage against Red Templars increased. Red Templar Guardsmen. Jares. When I saw the Templars marching up the road, my heart was glad. I asked if they'd come to stop the rebel mages who burned down the farms, but one growled it was none of our business. That was when I noticed his eyes were red. Not like he'd had a long night at the inn, but really, truly red. Verney announced these were the band's lands, and it was his business who was in them. The Templar cut him down without a word. A dozen of us against 3 of them, and we never got a strike past their shields. They're stronger than any man I've known. The Templars swung full tower shields of metal like they weighed nothing. We had to run. Tell the band to seal the castle gates against any visiting Templars. Letter from a guardsman employed by Ban Harkwold. Harkwold? Red Templar Knight. At first I was only suspicious. Some of my brothers and sisters were acting strangely, spending time in the company of those who only days earlier we hadn't even given a passing glance. I would enter a room, and they would all be sitting together, talking in hushed whispers, and then they would stop altogether. I felt my intrusion keenly and withdrew, wondering how it was that I was not included in this group. Was there dissension in the Templar ranks? Were they speaking a rebellion against the Seekers of Truth? I could not fathom it, so I kept my peace. Then I saw the lyrium vials Sir Randall kept in his gear. It was accidental, as we had them wrapped in dark cloth and immediately covered them when I entered his quarters. But I did. They were red, not blue. Again I held my tongue. Now I wish I had not. More and more of my fellow Templars stop talking when I walk into rooms. There is little talk of continuing our hunt for the rebel mages. There is little talk of anything at all. I see the red vials they wear openly around their necks, no longer hidden. They are stronger than the rest of us, and it suddenly seems as if proper blue lyrium has become rare. Shortages, they tell me. I saw Sir Randall this morning, and his eyes were red. For the first time, I'm wondering if I should abandon my post and flee the Order for good. From the Journal of Sir Caitlin of the Order of the Templars, 941 Dragon. Red Templars. The Red Templars is exactly what they sound like. They are Templars who have been fed red lyrium, and the results are precisely what happened to Meredith and Kirkwall. It improves their powers, grants new ones, and increases their strength beyond what a human body should bear. Over time, red lyrium will turn them into beasts. Crystals will grow inside their bodies, even I am told, sprouting through their heads. In the end, the Red Templars will be lost, mind and soul to roaring madness. Did the Chantry push our Templars too far, or was this break inevitable? Maker help us, I pray it was not us who drove our good knights into becoming monsters. Mother Celeris of the Grand Cathedral in a letter to a friend. The Orlesian Civil War. When Grand Duke Gaspard attacked Empress Celine of Orlais, which you get to read more about if you read the book The Masked Empire, in an attempt to claim the throne, we assumed business across the country would suffer greatly. To counter propaganda suggesting she was overly tolerant of the elves, Selene was drawn to crush an elven uprising in Halam Shiral. I remember that. And Gaspard's attack there destroyed her forces and cut her off from Val Royeaux. She escaped back to the Orlesian capital, with 100 mad stories explaining how, at which point we started closing down the family shops, expecting Gaspard's army to carve a bloodied path through the heartlands and up north towards cities loyal to Selene. Instead, the humans have been downright reasonable. We made a killing on furs and silver in Val Royeaux as Gaspard's hold on southern Orlais cut off incoming trade goods from Ferelden. The nobles in Montfort and Valchevin also bought up violets, as though their touch killed Darkspawn. Apparently, Selene declared that wearing purple flowers was a way for humans to show their loyalty to her. In Ferelden, half of the cities would be on fire, but in Orlais, the nobles make jokes, and the merchants just keep peddling their wares while Gaspard and Selene's armies clash in the dales. The only people really suffering are the peasants, but then that's true enough anywhere. Send extra guards to the next shipment, on the next shipment, but save the lyrium for Ferelden. The family is doing good business here as it is. From a letter from General Harik, dwarven merchant to his family in Ostwick. History. In your heart shall burn. Then the Maker said, to you, my second-born, I grant this gift. In your heart shall burn an unquenchable flame, all time-consuming and never satisfied. From the Fade I crafted you, and to the Fade you shall return, each night in dreams that you may always remember me. Canticle of Threnodies 5:7. In passage 1 through 6, his first children wanted for nothing, freed from need. They would only praise. But it was hollow, without cost. We and all the physical were created immutable, that our works would require struggle. A wonder created of wood and stone proves more intent than any wish of the Fade. Here in the gentlest verses of the chant, we see how great his gift and how stern his punishment. To inspire he gave us dreams, such that we would strive to make his limited world reflect his glory. Some look upon that nightly memory and feel only desire, as though he owed his splendor. We, the second children, were meant to master the wants and wanes of emotion and childish pursuits, to honor at a distance and move ever forward. We failed in this, and the weakest of us did act as petulant infants, clawing back into a sight, because we could not master our desire, because we acted on pitiful instinct, because we dared look upon our Maker to fulfill our need and not his. He is lost to us. But he is merciful while stern, and we remember what we have lost. His second children can learn, grow, and change. If we cannot, then we are no better and no worse than his first children. From the Word and Challenge of Chant by revered Mother Hevara. Magic. Spirit of Wisdom. Acknowledging the difficulty when we could not understand what it meant, there was none of the bargaining one normally associates with a summoned creature, save that the spirit sometimes asks us questions as well. Harris shared a mathematical formula he had recently proven, while Atren explained her study on magical themes in the Chant of Light, and young Reese talked a little bit about his mother. When we were finished, the spirit thanked us for the conversation and then vanished, although none of us had dismissed it. We soon discovered that the summoning ritual we had devised was critically flawed. The spirit had been under no compulsion to come or remain. All the time it had talked with us, it had stayed of its own volition. Harris was greatly concerned that such a powerful spirit remained free, and has updated the ritual to correct for the weakness in the binding enchantment. I understand his caution, but I also confess that I quite enjoyed the conversation. I'm not certain the spirit would have talked so freely had it been shackled at the time. An excerpt from Spirits of the Spire by Senior Enchanter Francois. On Skyhold. A page from an enchanter's journal, scorched to near illegibility. The style is an old Ferelden dialect, circa mid to late Divine Age. Experiments in ambient lingerings. First staging. The question isn't, is it special? The question is, how special? We found relics, but there are always relics. Elves ranged far before their empire was crushed, but rarely did they return where they did not build. This place they visited again and again. I see it in the fragments, clays from different nations, not just craftsmen, styles from different centuries, not just clans, and yet no record of a ruin. The structures here are all Ferelden, with stone ferried up by a typical madman, whatever was here, whatever nature spire. It was flattened for a roof, but I know the common shapes, and I will erect them as was custom, and we shall see what the elves wish to see. A note below is in different and uneducated hand. I finished this for Master Ganol. His workings brought lightning, much lightning. The rods are pools of metal now, and all his workings burned. Master was also struck. I write for him his last words because his fingers are ash and he did not live the night. The veil is old here. Skyhold has not just been claimed time and again, but sacked as well. We have managed to uncover some remnants, including a scratching under a pillar that mentions the name given by your witch. Old, but still long after the place had been built over. But the author knew something of its first purpose, or at least something of a legend. Varlandivalis has him Sebelanaris, San Elgar, Melanda him Samiras, Ventalindan, word missing. Nadasalin teleras, Nesuli telestenera tereslian telas venar abel tarvir, word missing. Even with assistance from your elf, we managed only a partial translation. Elven is often a game of intents, not direct mapping of phonetic meaning. That means it's a mess. Our belief transformed into everything. Assertion? Problem? Uncertain. All time is transformed into the final/first death, uncertain. Inevitable threatened victory and horrible promised freedom in the untorn veils, uncertain. Where the sky is held up/back, where the people give/gain love, that is an apology/promise from/to, missing subject uncertain. Mostly complete as fragments go. The rhythm is strange, not like others I've recorded. Perhaps less a poem than a statement. The Elven language does tend to meander. Notes from the archivist. Tales. No, that's not Tales. There's a bunch of tales. Samson's tale. Samson, Templar fame, raise your shield of shame. Samson's letter caught, left unfought, defamed. Armor laced with blood shall reclaim his name. Samson's broken heart shall revoke his claim. Samson, knight in red, he had lost his way. Samson, martyr's rage, soon the world will pay. Is performed by the bard Meriden Halliwell. And is that it for now? Short and sweet? Okay. So, yeah, that's all I'm going to do for this video, guys. This is probably a little shorter than some of my other codexes, but that's fine. So thank you again, guys, for watching this episode of Gay Let's Play Dragon Age Inquisition. Tune in and join us next time, everybody. And until then, love yourselves and love each other.